Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolute mechanics of a major leadership transition, and really, how you build a movement that's designed to endure. When we look at organizations or institutions, the ultimate test of their strength isn't just how fast they grow, it's how effectively they hand over the reins to the next generation. So we're looking directly at source material today that maps out a literal blueprint for exactly this kind of monumental transition. Let's get right into it. So here's the massive question that forms the absolute core of our source material today. How do you build a movement designed to last 1,000 generations? Just take a second to process that timeline. 1,000 generations. Most organizations are, planning for the next fiscal quarter, or maybe they have a nice 5-year strategic roadmap. But the text we're analyzing today forces us to zoom out entirely. It challenges us to look at the structural integrity you need to build something that doesn't just outlast its founders, but literally outlasts entire epochs of history. To see how they pull this off, we'll follow a clear roadmap today. We've got 4 parts. 1. Honoring the foundation. 2. The movement's DNA. 3. A generational vision. And 4. Passing the torch. Okay, starting with section 1, honoring the foundation. This is all about looking back. Because every great movement really does start with a look back, right? This foundation wasn't just built on some clever strategy. It was built through a really deep, multifaceted support system. The idea here is that you simply cannot build for the future if you don't completely respect the bedrock you're standing on. The source material emphasizes a profound recognition of divine guidance and glory as the ultimate driver. But, crucially, it also highlights the human element. We're talking massive family sacrifices behind the scenes, essential donor support that kept the mission moving, the relentless dedication of prayer warriors, and of course, the pioneering field leaders, those boots on the ground who actually carved out the initial path. Calling this out is absolutely crucial because it grounds the entire movement in humility before they take even a single step forward. Moving right along to section 2, the movement's DNA. Let's look at their core operating principles. So how does this organizational engine actually run day to day? Well, it breaks down into a relentless, repeatable 3-step action plan. Notice the flow here. It's really interesting. It starts with step 1, personal discovery. The individual actually has to internalize the mission for themselves. But it doesn't just stop at understanding. Step 2 requires immediate obedience, meaning there is 0 lag time. Knowledge is instantly translated into action. And then step 3 is consistent replication. This isn't a one-off event. By constantly replicating this exact cycle, the movement's DNA spreads organically and exponentially. It's just a highly efficient engine for growth. Now, here is the crucial balancing act for any enduring movement. You absolutely must fiercely protect your foundational principles, even as you adapt how those principles are expressed in a changing world. It's kind of like a tightrope walk. If you compromise your core principles, well, you lose your identity and the whole reason you exist in the first place. But on the flip side, if you refuse to adapt how you express those principles to fit new cultural contexts or younger generations, you just become obsolete. The source material makes it super clear. Surviving long-term requires mastering this exact duality. And that brings us to how they measure success. Most organizations ask, how wide is our reach, or what's our market share? But to last 1,000 generations, you actually need what the text calls a 3-dimensional evaluation. This framework insists on measuring spiritual depth, like how profoundly are individuals actually being transformed. And perhaps most uniquely, it measures longevity. Are we building something that's going to just burn out in a few years, or are we constructing a true legacy? By measuring depth, width, and longevity all together, they make sure the movement is robust in literally every possible direction. Which leads us perfectly into section 3, a generational vision. Let's look forward. 1,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. They aren't planning for the near future. They are aggressively planning for a vision that spans an incredible 1,000 generations. It's a level of commitment that completely alters how every single decision is made today. When your timeline is 1,000 generations, you don't take shortcuts. You don't build your house on sand. You make structural choices today that are specifically designed to echo thousands of years from now. But how do you even achieve a massive 1,000-generation scale like that? Well, ironically, it's through the most intimate actions possible. The text shows that by simply teaching commandments through daily life and family devotion, you create these unbroken chain reactions of future disciples. It's not just happening in a boardroom or a massive event. It's happening at the dinner table, in the living room, in those quiet daily moments. Those tiny daily investments lead directly to massive compounding results over time. Basically, the macro vision is fueled entirely by micro actions. And that brings us to our final part, Section 4, Passing the Torch, the actual leadership handover. The text beautifully frames this transition as a bridge. You're moving from the incredible foundational progress of the past directly to the future mountain peaks that the new leaders have to climb next. Think about it. The foundational leaders did their job. They built the base camp, they navigated the initial treacherous terrain, but the journey definitely isn't over. The source material recognizes that the upcoming generation has entirely new mountain peaks they need to conquer. So it's a seamless transition of purpose. You acknowledge the past victories, but immediately set your sights on future elevations. So to actually conquer those future peaks, the new leaders are specifically called to embody 3 vital traits. First, they must be strong, able to bear the heavy weight of an enduring legacy. Second, they need to be courageous, willing to face the totally unknown challenges of those higher altitudes and adapt their expressions, like we talked about earlier. But above all else, they must be humble. Humility ensures they actually remember the foundation they're standing on and the divine guidance that brought them there in the first place. Because without humility, honestly, strength and courage can easily turn into destructive arrogance. Finally, the baton pass is made official. And it's not just some administrative handover or a quick signing of documents. It is a deeply significant moment, marked by a formal prayer and the actual commissioning of these new leaders for the movement's next great chapter. This formal commissioning serves as a super clear, definitive marker for the entire organization. It signals to everyone that, yes, the mantle has successfully passed, the DNA is still totally intact, and the march toward that 1,000-generation vision is continuing without a single missed step. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to really chew on regarding your own legacy. We've seen how the source material honors the past, guards its organizational DNA, and plans for literally 1,000 generations. But look at your own organization, your own community, or even your own life's work. When the time eventually comes to pass the baton, what mountain peaks will your movement conquer next? Are you merely maintaining the base camp, or are you actually preparing the next generation for the climb? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.